All right, we're back with another portion of this 55 build. Today we're going to be installing a fuel system. And first off, just got to rip the old stuff out of it. I've already drained the fuel tank, and I'm just going to pull the tank, rip the fuel lines out, and install the new stuff. So you really don't have to watch me rip the old stuff out, but I'll take you with me on installing the new stuff. Let's take a look here real quick before I put this tank up in this car. You got the float on this side. It has a ground wire and the signal wire coming from the dash. Just going to hook up into this. I ran the two grounds together for the fuel pump and the float just into the one. The fuel pump is getting a wire straight from the BP automotive harness. So after I run my harness, I'm just going to tie it right into this. I'm already going to have it grounded. I went ahead and wrote pressure right on the tank so that I won't forget. I went ahead and wrote return right on the tank so that I won't forget. And of course this one is a vent, and it gets, after I mount the tank, it gets this little fancy vent screen. I got this from Tanks. You can order whatever style fuel pumps you want for whatever application you got. I'm going to stick this up in the car. I got the fuel tank mounted. Looks pretty good. I'm going to find a place to mount the ground on the frame. And I've already hooked up the fuel gauge wire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start running some fuel lines along the frame, and I'll put some insulated clamps on it after I get it all ran. I've already ran it down to a 100 micron filter, and I just self-tap the mount right to the frame. But now I'm going to drop it down. I'm going to mount a regulator on the firewall and run a pressure line back to the filter. And this pressure line or return line here, I'll just run a connector on it. That just made it easier for me to mount the tank up in there, putting this short section on. I got a couple connectors that I'll put on it over here in a minute. Now I've got this fuel regulator. It's going to be going on, and I believe that if I mount it directly above my frame right here on the firewall, that's going to be my best spot. I'll bring my hose up and it'll come straight over and connect right onto the fuel rail. And then my return will come right off of my fuel regulator right back down to the tank. On this fuel regulator, you can run your in and out on either side, in or out, in or out. So I'm going to bring my in on this side, my out on this side, and return right there. Well, that's a bummer. There's not even I don't even have a size for the return in this box. Luckily I had one. It was a fitting for a 4L80 transmission. The oddball size fitting for a 4L80 transmission fits it. They want to see what the name of it is. Wondering who didn't send all the fittings. And there might be someone wanting to know what size fitting that is. It's 9/16/18. So I've mounted the fuel regulator, and I've ran one line, my pressure line, over to the fuel rail. This connection right here is just a quick disconnect. It's a 3/8, just like most GM style. Just clips right on. I'll show you how to make one. I ran out of PTFE line. Opened up the box and it was just regular braided. non-PTFE. I don't plan on running E85, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it to run down to the filter and to connect my return. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put an end on right now, and I'm going to run it up and connect it. I'll do this pretty much start to finish. If you don't have cutters like I got, you can use a grinder, but make sure you blow this out really well. So wrap you some tape, painter's tape around it, kind of nice and snug. Don't do multiple wraps. Once you get it wrapped, once it's just connected, cut it off. If it's thick, your fitting won't go on. So just enough to connect the overlapping of the tape, and that's it. If you don't have a set of these, use a grinder with a cutoff wheel. Make sure you blow it out really well. This piece will go on next, and it is a reverse thread up inside of here to get it to go on. So like if you're trying to spin this on, spin it backwards. Took me a long time to figure that out. Just run it up until it's flush with the inside. The rubber hose comes all the way up to the threads. I always like to use a little bit of lube on this, and don't hate on me for using what I just used. I typically will like to put silicone spray on it. Couldn't find any, so that's what it got. If you want to see somebody put these together without scratching them up, go watch somebody else's video. Notice I didn't like squeeze it real tight. Once it hit and locked, that's it. And look, it's not tore all to pieces. It's not scratched up. Looks great. That's all there is to it. Let's make another one together. Try to cut it as straight as you can. Take it apart. Oops. Silicone on it. Got the reverse thread up inside of it. to get a light to see. Making this one together, bud. Grab my AN fitting tools. If you're not careful, you will tear these all to pieces with wrenches. And they will look awful. So it just locked. That's as far as you need to take it. Pressure line is ran. What'd that take us? 4 minutes? All right, so I got a PTFE line right here. I'm gonna trim it off again. And show you how to put one of these on. So when you cut it with that tool, it squeezes it together. You stick this in, and I like to try to take, these are flat, and just squeeze it flat again, because it kind of deforms it a little bit. Well, it's going to be hard for you to see, but she's pretty round now. I'm going to make it a little better for you to see. The rounder, the better, because these are different. So you take your fitting, take it apart. Be careful when you're taking it apart because it's got this ferrule in it. First thing you want to do is you want to slide your nut on. The nut is not threaded like the other one. And this will not go on if you multi-layer your tape. One layer, that's it. Now your ferrule has to go on, but if you catch any of the little wires in your ferrule, it will not go on. Look inside, see if you're catching any of the wires. And if they go on by thumb, pretty much like I just did right there, you'll see that the PTFE is seated all the way up on the inside of this ferrule, all the way up to the very end of it. That's how you want it. Sometimes it is a bear to get that up in there. I squirt this with lube every time, with threads and everything. Shove that in there. You can leave the tape on it. Try to smash them ends down. This is sometimes difficult. This end is going to be the end that turns. This end just ain't gonna have any luck turning this end. I mean, you can try to turn it, hold this end straight, but it just ain't gonna happen. I felt that it wasn't started straight, so I backed it up. There we go. Sometimes these are a little tougher. There, it locked. That's it. You can dig that tape out of there if you want. And this is what I'm connecting it with. I don't have a black anodized one. I'll be straight up with you. Got that from Rural King. In the tractor hose section. It says JIC on it. It's the same thing though. Go up on top. Make a connection. Actually, I'm just gonna go ahead and run my hose up through there first and then put an end on it. Make the connection. It'll be down here so I don't have to fight with it. Now I will come along the fuel lines. I'll zip tie it. I will put some insulated clamps. Everything I need to do to keep it away from exhaust and anything that's moving. And I think that they're ran pretty decent up through there. I'm gonna stick a dipstick in it. Anytime you add dipstick on one of these things, put some anti-seize or some grease up here on this end of it. Well, on the whole thing actually. These always stick in the block. Next person who goes pulls that out is gonna love you for it. If it don't go in as easy as that one just did, clean the dipstick hole out. It takes the shortest bolt you can put in it. That was a new dipstick tube and a new dipstick. I've seen these stick in also. You have to get some lube on it. Yeah, now it should go in. I believe next I'm going to throw some coils on. Dig some out of the shed, or off the shelf somewhere. Plugs and wires. And that's probably going to be all for this video. When you get down toward the end of a build, one thing that I've learned to do is just come over to your whiteboard or a piece of cardboard or whatever and write down the things that you can notice that you. This is the best style coil to use with this little heat sink on top of it. I don't have a complete set, but I do have a plethora of this style of coil, and I believe I'm going to use this set and this one and this to make a complete set. These here are looking a little older, a little rusty. Even though these are dirtier looking, they're not rusty, so I'm going to use this set. This wiring harness and this wiring harness. Now I got a complete set of coils. When I was going over these coils, I noticed one was busted, so it got replaced. I'm going to give them a quick washing with some mineral spirits, and then I'm going to throw them on. This battery box might get moved. Don't know for sure yet. All right, let's pull the battery box. Let's go cut this off. Just weld that together. This is basically what it got. I just cut 1.25 inches out of the end of it and welded it back together. I didn't even come over and test fit after I tacked it. I'll throw the other side on. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to mod this side also. Got the coils mounted. There's plenty of room for the wire now. Took me quite a while, but I knocked one thing off the list, so. Let's see. I don't know, I'll sit down and think about it. I'm running into a bit of an issue with the transmission lines. Let's see if I can't show you this. You see inside there? That's inverted flare fitting. They had a pipe threaded into it. It just takes a regular inverted flare, just like a brake line. That's what it takes. So for me to convert a brake line to that, I might have a little trouble finding the proper fitting just to make a couple short lines to do it properly. I might end up just cutting it off and putting a couple compression fittings on here. That's not exactly the right way to do it, but that's probably how it's going to be done. Shouldn't have a pipe thread fitting in it. My next move is going to be cutting these old mounts off. They're no longer needed and they're in the way of running the exhaust, both sides. I've already started cutting this one. I'm just going to use a Sawzall. I just took a Sawzall and cut these off, and it was not easy, both sides. Now I got the emergency brake cable piece right in the way. I'm thinking I can bend it down a little bit. I might do that later. And while I'm here, earlier video, we cut the ears off the transmission. This is the reason we cut the ears off the transmission. The exhaust runs right through there, both sides. If the ears were left on, there would be no room for the exhaust. We do that on all the LS swaps. Even this one over here has the ears cut off the transmission. And if I was able to get underneath there and show you, I would. I know this one over here is a low budget, cheap as I can do it. This one isn't. This one I've had for 6 months. And it might not look like I've done anything to it lately, but no, we was on it just a few days ago. This is going to be a Smokey and the Bandit when it's done. 6.2 liter. So, just letting you know that. Cut those ears off. I am back, and I took a really long break, and I mocked up the air intake and reworked the bracket coming off the front of the motor. I'm just going to take it on. If I can without any glasses. I'll tack both sides, go take it over to the motor, test fit it, bring it back, and weld it. That don't sound like AC. That was not. Pretty much ruined it firing up on it. DC negative. Maybe I'll be able to clean it off. Test fitted. It fit, and I had to bend the bracket way up compared to the way I had it on here. So it's a good thing that I went over and test fitted. I'll turn down about 30 amps. I scrubbed this down with acetone. Let's see if that helps. I got an auto shade, but it's just not working. I think my issue is whatever this was coated with is embedded in that aluminum really bad, and it's just not coming out. It's just not going well. I'm not afraid to show you. Pretty rough, but it's on there. I'll flip this over and do the other side of it. I can keep my tungsten out of it. I can't see. Turn it up another 5. Turn me up 5. So that looked really bad before. It had 3/16 or a quarter gap, just awful looking to feel. And this is what this side turned out like, so it's not going to fall off. I could go over and pretty it up, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to shoot some of the wrinkle paint on it and roll with it. A fresh coat of Wrinkle Plus. That's stopped up. Then I will roll it over and do that side, and this will be done. All right, if you're wondering, non-power steering with the big alternator. 76 inches is supposed to be the right size. We're about to find out. Off the alternator, straight down to the crank. Back up and around the pump over to the tensioner, and then I want to try to get it to go underneath the pulley, the idler pulley. And this is a 76, and it looks like it's going to be tight if it does fit. If it does fit, it's going to work. Put some silicone spray on this belt for right here. so I know that that's maxed out. That's well, it's supposed to be 76, but according to this part number, it's 75 and a half. And a 76-inch belt will work. And it says right here on the back of this package, 76. Got this air intake bolted on. One more tip is use the factory grommet right here that is on your mass airflow. These work a whole lot better on these air filters. But this is pretty much going to end this video. I got one more modification to do to this air intake, and it's putting a sensor in it, but I'm going to do that in the wiring video, and I'm going to cut this video off right here and start a wiring video of putting in this BP automotive harness. So I appreciate everyone that's watched this video and followed along and liked it and shared it, and I hope that it's helped someone out. Maybe with your LS swap, and show maybe some quick tips and some free mods. So that's it for this one. Thanks, guys.